I would just like to speak on something real quick about this whole Nolan Wells situation. And it's basically that I keep seeing post after post after post of almost essentially blaming his parents because they, didn't warn him or allowed him to be the only Black child in a group full of white children.
As parents, Black parents, we can't allow our children to be the only one, because what happens is the friends end up not knowing what happened to your child when something goes wrong.
And that makes me sick to my stomach. How that must make that mother and father feel that we're putting more blame on them because they should have taught him better. No. How about we should be teaching our children better? We should be teaching our children to be safe spaces for those kids. We should be teaching fucking white kids how to interact and be decent fucking human beings instead of playing into these diabolical what if games and I don't even know. But my point is, this is my point. We as white parents need to step up and start educating our children, because it is not on the onus of anyone else but us to fix this fucking problem.
The mothers to the white kid, they are speaking out. Welcome back. How y'all doing? Thank you to all my return subscribers. And if you're new here, you are on the right channel, because right here we bring everything trending, just like this one right now. That is buzzing the internet as it's supposed to be. Yes, sir. As it's supposed to be, buzzing the internet, it is buzzing. Y'all not gonna tell me that you've not heard of this story. Majority of us have heard about these stories, and the moment you open your social media, this is what's popping up. Hashtag for Nolan Wells. And we are gonna say we are all for it. I know we are all for it. So I'm gonna say the mothers to the white kids coming out is too late. I am going to disagree. We have to give them the opportunity to join the movement. We all know it. Not all of the mothers gonna come out. Some might not even feel what this family and the Black communities are feeling. So when we see a percentage of those that are feeling what this family and the Black communities are feeling, I am gonna say they are welcome. I'm gonna be rolling y'all how they are feeling, and we are gonna add more commentary at the end of the video. Credit to all the creators. Drop your comment down there, because just like I told you, this is heartbreaking. This is not something we should be talking about, but we just have to bring it out here. The more we hear about it, the more we are gonna learn one or two things on how to be better. That's just the way it is, to be better. Credit to all the creators. Let me know y'all how the mothers to the white kids, how they are feeling, and they are speaking out.
White parents raising white children, this one is for you. Now, don't get defensive. I need you to hear me out and not make this about yourself for a second. It is not just the job of parents of Black and brown children to make sure that they are safe around groups of white children. We need to be having conversations with our kids about how to be a legitimately safe place for all people. If they're old enough to hear the stories like Nolan Wells, you can share that with them. And if not, make it more general and developmentally appropriate. We never leave our friends behind. Never take away our friends' cell phone or access to communication, especially if they're going to be by themselves. We notice if they're the only person of color in a group, because that can matter even if we know that we would not treat them differently. And if your kids are young and you're like, this is so far off, you can start now. What that would look like is raising children who are emotionally intelligent, that appreciate diversity, don't just ingest media of people who look like them, that don't hang out with people just who look like them. The red pill, incel, racist culture wants your kid on their side. And so you need to be very intentional about how you're raising them to not become that. The conversation wherever you are by having your kids know that no matter what happens, they call you. If they are worried that their friend who they love is doing something racist and they don't feel capable in that moment to say something because they're a child, start to notice weird behavior in their group of friends. They call you and you deal with it together. You give them scripts, what to say. Hey, that's not acceptable. Hey, that joke isn't funny. Teach them the skills and you give them the means how to deal with it in the moment. But you also always say, hey, the moment you notice something is off, listen to that voice and you talk to me or another trusted adult immediately. This video is not the end all be all of what you should be having the conversations with your kids, like way more than what I'm talking, okay? I'm just encouraging you to at least start. Black and brown children deserve to grow old, and we need to recognize what our part is in this.
You know what breaks my soul about what happened to Nolan Wells is that as a white mother, I've been in the rooms with other white parents as they make excuses for the shitty behavior of their children. I have sat at the table with white mothers as they placate and avoid and ignore the shitty behaviors that their sons do. I have been in the rooms with other white families as they make excuses and constantly invalidate the experiences of others, completely unwilling to see a reality that doesn't even exist for them. What breaks my soul about what happened to Nolan Wells is that we don't teach our white children how to stand up for what's right. We don't teach our children accountability, because if it's one thing that we really, really, really can't tolerate within white culture, that's accountability. And that has to change with us white mothers.
As the whole world is watching the Nolan Xavier Wells story, I have to tell you that it resonates specifically with me, a privileged white mom of a Black daughter. My daughter is in her 20s and she is very adventurous. And when she leaves this house and does what I'm going to coin an inherently white activity, a little piece of my heart dies every single time. And I'm going to give you an example. She likes to go mudding in the woods. And there is a certain demographic does that and is on those trails. And she goes out there with her phone, but sometimes that doesn't matter because she's in the woods and there's no service. And she goes out with her guy friends. And I have two concerns. She's a woman in the woods with a predominantly male activity, and she's Black. And so I can tell you that when this story hit the other day, it hit home for me. My heart goes out to the family. I'm so ecstatic to see that they hired Ben Crump. I know that he's going to do an extremely thorough investigation. And here's where all of us creators, you know, I have a small platform, 50,000 followers over 2 platforms, but we all need to speak about this and we need to talk about it. Racism is rampant in this country. You know it and I know it. But I shouldn't have to worry, and his mom, Christine, shouldn't have to worry when our Black children leave the house and hang out with white people.
You know what is so crazy to me about seeing another Black boy be unalived in this country is all over my feed, I'm seeing these Black creators talking about it, grieving about it. I'm seeing these comments of people, you know, being here for each other. And I know that right now, as I'm looking at that content, those moms of those white boys in Mississippi are all trying to figure out a way to keep them out of jail or to keep them without consequences. Instead of getting to the bottom of it, getting the real answers, getting the real proper truth, finding out what happened, because white women are disappointing. So, I don't know. I believe we can do better, but...
Good morning, coming to you live from my porch. Not showered yet, no makeup, obviously. But I've been seeing a lot of these posts about Nolan Wells. First of all, like, I'm praying for his mom and his community, and I'm grieving with them. But I've also been seeing a lot of posts from Black parents about ways to keep your Black kids safe. And white people, I hope we're listening to them. I hope we're paying attention. I'm struck by these conversations that people are having that are like, hey, you have to be really careful if your kid is the only black kid there. Like, that might be a problem, and is a problem, and these are the reasons it's not safe. And my kids mostly hang out with their black friends, and I've been thinking about how when I talk to them about being in community with black people, I'm not talking to them about how they need to be careful about their black friends. I'm talking to them about how they need to be careful about their whiteness. That, like, if a cop stops a group of them, that they need to be the ones who step up and speak, that they need to make sure they're extra respectful, because the authority is going to take it out on the black friends, right? Not on my kids. And how, as white kids, it's their responsibility to use their whiteness in ways that honor their friends and that love them well. And all of these posts about, like, how to keep black kids safe, and just no posts from white parents about how to make sure that your kid is the kid that is going to protect the black kid, and is not the kid who's going to let whiteness reign. And so I would love, if there are other people talking about this, I would love to be in conversation with them. I would love to see that. White parents, are you talking to your kids at all about whiteness, about how to keep your friends safe, about how their safety is different if they're not white? Are we doing that? Do you need me to tell you how to do it again? Like, I will. We cannot keep putting this on black mothers. Like, mother to mother, it's our responsibility to teach our kids how to keep everybody safe. And been in community with black women and black mothers since my kids were babies, and we owe it to them. We do.
Let me just get this straight. A singular black man goes on a trip with 3 white boys and their entirely white family to an island in the middle of nowhere, and the only person who doesn't make it home is, of course, the one black man. And no, there's not an investigation open. There's no foul play here. Except there were no emergency phone calls from the family members. Nobody in the local area said that they were even asked for help. And they claimed Nolan Wells went off to talk to a girl while keeping his phone with the family. Why the fuck would he go to get a girl's contact without his phone? And on top of that, not a single person stayed back to look for him. They all went home while he was still missing. And then just 2 days later, his body is found washed up on the shore, drowned? Let me ask a few questions. Why is there no investigation open on the girl that he was allegedly talking to at that time? Why is there no investigation open on the 3 friends that he was with at that time? And how are we so sure that there was no foul play at all on a drowning in the middle of the ocean on a deserted island with a family that is not his, where the story doesn't make sense? Plus, guess what? The boys that he was with, all of them deactivated their social media immediately. Shouldn't they be desperately searching for answers or connections to learn more about their missing friend? And keep in mind, the family went home hours after he was missing without bringing him back. And the person who reported him missing was his own mother that night when she realized he did not come home. If we don't start and continue radicalizing the people around us now, people will continue dying for it. These conversations need to happen. This exposure needs to happen, because if we keep looking away and allowing others to look away, then this is what happens to people that slip through the cracks. We will have an investigation on this case because we, the people, demand it. The people in our communities are the only ones that we can trust right now. So we have to come together and demand justice, or we will not see it. Share this story and be fucking loud about it.
The This video is circulating online. Instagram, TikTok, actually was reposted by the civil rights attorney, Benjamin Crump, who's been retained by the Nolan Wells family, that seems to show some kind of argument going on between Nolan Wells and his friends. But in the video, he seems calm. There's no physical altercation, and police as well as attorneys are requesting that if anyone has any information, there were so many people there, someone has to have seen something, please send that information to local authorities. But there's some more updates I want to cover with you. The first is that mainstream media is not covering this. I plan on looking through headlines. I wanted to see how this was being depicted in the mainstream media, and I went to Ground News. There is nothing. I had to search it, and then I only had one section I could choose from, and all of the articles are small and local newspapers or recordings, nothing that is hitting the national stage. It's not even being talked about. And many of the sources that are there are talking about, well, what was his behavior? Well, why did he stay on the island? Well, was he drinking? Instead of like, hey, we have a dead kid. What happened? Who did this? And I challenge you to pay attention to the headlines and actually read the articles and point out the differences between how a Black victim is spoken about versus a white victim. And if you want to use Ground News to do that, to see all these different sources, you can get 40% off the Vantage plan at groundnews.com/Monty. Also, the girl came forward. The girl that he was allegedly speaking to, her name was Katie McCormick. She did come forward. She said, yep, we had a conversation. They have no prior history. She left with friends, and other people were able to verify her whereabouts. There were a few key details that stood out to me. The first was that the press release about him being missing did not go out until 12 hours after his family reported him missing. There is also now reporting that text messages might have been deleted off of his phone, the phone that was in the possession of his friends while they were on the boat. And it has also been noticed that many of the family members and friends of the boys in question have deleted or deactivated their Facebooks, including the stepmother of one of the boys, who is a judge, Ashley Cole, who not only deactivated her social media, but then she did release a statement defending her son and then acknowledging she deleted her social media to prevent rumors. Again, none of those things are admissions of guilt, but they are something that I've never seen before. But the only way that we're going to get eyes on Nolan Wells' case is by keep talking about it. The mainstream media is not discussing this at all. It is not getting coverage. Only local journalists and small local papers, radio stations are covering this at all. And if you were on Horn Island or anywhere near there at that time and you saw anything or you have footage, please send it to local law enforcement as we await for the results of the autopsy.
I got a message for white people. So if you're not white, I guess keep scrolling. If your skin looks like this, I'm going to hold your hand while I say this to you. It is not your job, your place, your right to dismiss, diminish, criticize, question the lived experience of people of color. It is not your job to define what is racist and not racist. I have deleted so many white friends on social media in the last 48 hours because of the Horn Island, Mississippi case involving Nolan Wells. Black people should be outraged. Black people should be absolutely fucking outraged. They should be asking questions and demanding answers. I pray for his family. I pray that this was a tragic accident. Okay? However, history has a really funny way of repeating itself, and I did some digging this morning, and I was searching and sleuthing the internet for cases similar to Nolan Wells, and the number of times that a Black child or Black adult goes missing or is after they have spent time in a predominantly white space. And it's disturbing. So I understand that there are a lot of different versions of events circulating the internet, but white people, I'm going to need you to sit down on this one. I'm going to need you to take a seat, because Black people, the Black community, they are responding because of lived experiences, because of how these cases play out, because there are so many times where an innocent Black child or innocent Black adult is no longer with us after spending time in a white space, and there is never a conviction. There are no answers. For all the white people on my social media platforms saying, just let law enforcement do their job, Black people pulling the race card, they should. And law enforcement clearly does not always do their job. Okay, so again, It is not your job as a white person to decide what is racist or not. And if you come into my comments talking shit, or I'll block you first of all, but not after I investigate you fully. Okay, like I'll find you because that's what my background is in. And I'll probably contact your employer. So again, white people, shut the fuck up and sit down.
I don't know about y'all, but I love this movement. I love them coming out to say that they understand the pain of the black mothers. Some might say it is too late. I'm gonna say no, it's not. When the movement starts, everybody don't join the movement when it starts. Some join in the middle, some join at the end of it. What matter is we are hard in the movement. So I welcome this they are doing. And I'm going to say credit to all the creators for giving us the opportunity to add our comment. I'm going to leave the handles of the creators. Please give them a follow. And I say thank you. Drop a like, drop your comment. How do you feel about this? Yes. Some say we should start teaching our kids. We should add the teaching on top of the teaching that we have been teaching our kids. We should add that they should mix with certain groups of people, and they should not mix or move with certain groups of people. I would say that's one option. If y'all think that's the best, that's one option. Another option I'm going to be throwing out here, just like I said, drop your comment and throw more options. You know what I mean? The more options we have, the more we can know how to work around this, because it is getting ridiculous for our young man to be going through this. This is not fair. These kids just started life. And we as a parent, if you are a parent, whether you're taking care of your own kid, you're taking care of your, of your families, you have kid around you. You are responsible for that kid. You just have to we have to be proactive. That's what I'm saying. Another option I think is we start teaching them the true meaning of friendship. They have to understand the true meaning of friendship. And we have to make sure we are seeing that in them. The true meaning of friendship. If your friend cannot got your back, that ain't no friend. If your friend knows your weakness and yet your friend can mock you, bully you with that is not your friend. We have to start hiding the true meaning of friendship. You know these kids of nowadays, when they see people smile at them, laugh at them, they call them friends, right? So we have to add that to the education, to the teaching that we are adding of everything we've been teaching these kids, right? This is so sad. This is what we want to be talking about this young man. Enough is enough. So that's what I said. I appreciate these white parents raising white kids coming out to say they have to do better. Yes, everybody as a parent got to do better. You know what I mean? Go down in the comment section and add your comment. Please, let's remember the family of Nolan Wells. Let's remember the family. Put them in our prayers always. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you to all my return subscribers. Bye for now.
So Ben Crump's team has officially confirmed that there were text messages that were deleted from Nolan Xavier Wells' phone before it was returned to his parents.
But even that is troubling to them because they're saying messages that were deleted from his cell phone. So they want to try to dot every I and cross every T and investigate everything. They said it's very improbable that Nolan would not have wanted his cell phone with him if he was going to stay on the island.
And it's like we're stating the obvious at this point. It doesn't make sense that somebody would want to stay on an island where you have to find a way back home. You have to get on a boat to return back to the mainland. And you're not going to want to have your phone on your person? Be so serious right now. I need us to all think critically. So we need to know what were in those text messages and why they were deleted. Because what we're also seeing is people trying to introduce different things to try to make what happened to Nolan make sense. Like the tide might have been high, or he might not have been a great swimmer, or introducing the idea of substances. None of that makes sense in this instance or matches what we're seeing play out in front of our faces. Now, Ben Crump has also revealed that the family is seeking their own independent investigation and autopsy, and that he is being flown out to DC for that to happen because they want to make sure that the investigation is not able to be tampered with by anybody who was involved in this situation.
To lead an independent investigation. So we will be conducting an independent autopsy where his family has asked for that, and so we're having Nolan's body flown to Washington, D.C.
And we are not going to stop talking about it until his family gets answers. Because the math is not mathing.